But the everyday American still waiting to hear some good news from the administration when it comes to gas prices. Let's take a look at what you're paying right now. Today, the current national average is $3.88. That's up 30 cents from last month and more than $1 from a year ago. The real winners from these high crude oil prices, yeah, you guessed it, the oil companies. And Congressman Ed Markey is the top Democrat of the House Natural Resources Committee and joins us now. Congressman, great to have you today. I just want to let the numbers released this week really speak for themselves when it comes to this issue, because they really do. Profits for Shell up 60%. That's nearly $9 billion. ConocoPhillips up 43%, $3 billion in earnings. BP, the company forever linked to the disaster in the Gulf, which we just had the one-year anniversary for, they saw their profits rise even 17%. Speaker Boehner is saying that we should look at repealing some of these tax subsidies, sir. So can we get a consensus on that very thing in Washington, D.C., or is it just too elusive?
I think it's going to be very difficult to get the Republican Party to actually repeal these tax breaks. Yes, what you're reporting is right on the money. The oil companies have reported $30 billion in profits in the last 3 months. But yet when the Democrats want to repeal $4 billion worth of tax breaks for the oil companies. Thus far, the Republicans have been adamantly opposed. And so this is enough actually to anger drivers across the country who are being tipped upside down at the gas pump while watching the Republicans actually protect tax breaks for the oil companies while trying to gut protections for senior citizens in Medicare and Medicaid. So the two pictures stand side by side, and the Republicans are clearly on the side of the oil industry.
You know, it seems like a legalized shakedown. Politico today pointed out on their blog about ExxonMobil before their profits came out, saying, quote, "How are pump prices set at Exxon and Mobil stations? We don't own 99.5% of them, and therefore we don't set the price." This is from Exxon. Local stations are often owned by a businessman or businesswoman in your community, and they set their own prices based on local market conditions. So Exxon reported $11 billion in earnings today, and they go ahead and they point the finger at the station owners. How come that doesn't add up when you look at that with common sense?
Yeah, the station owners are price takers. They're not the price makers. The makers of that price are ExxonMobil, OPEC, the 1.2 million barrels of oil that is no longer being produced out of Libya, the 800,000 barrels of oil that Saudi Arabia is no longer, in fact, putting on the market. They've taken it off. The Republican threat to cut in half the CFTC budget, which are the cops on the beat to make sure that speculators don't drive up the price of oil. So all of this combined creates an atmosphere where the guy on the corner, the guy with the gas station, he's left just taking this huge increase and passing it on to ordinary consumers. So it's time for us to just turn the tables and say to the Republicans, we know the GOP stands for Gas and Oil Party, but we demand that you give us a vote on the floor of the House and the Senate so that we can repeal these tax breaks for the oil companies. They need tax breaks to drill for oil in the same way that fish need subsidies to swim or birds need subsidies to fly. They just don't need them, and now is the time for that confrontation. Instead, the Republicans are trying to cut the retirement and health care benefits for grandma. That's where they are, and those are the town meetings they're having across the country when the American people want them to focus on this gasoline issue, on the impact it could have upon our economy, on the impact on the long-term economic well-being of the people in our country.
Congressman Markey, thanks for coming on today. We're going to let you get back to work, and hopefully you can turn this around for us. We'd appreciate it.